Hi, welcome to Classic Car Studio. Today we're going to be introducing you to my personal project. It is actually a 1988 square body. Don't get choked up on that. Square body dualies carried over into the OBS era. But it is a 1988 square body dually crew cab, two-wheel drive. It's got a crazy old school, what I call choo-choo custom style of paint job. There's a tag still on the tailgate. I forget what it was, American Van something or other. They just did these aftermarket paint jobs in interiors. The interior's kind of gaudy. The exterior's kind of Western gaudy, but I love it. That's why I bought the truck, was for all the stripes. It makes it a little bit different. And it's patinaed. Patinaed paint's cool, so when you get like a retired race car hauler or something, that to me is just way better than anything. So what I have here is just an old horse trailer puller, and that's why its name is actually going to be Rodeo. What we're going to do to Rodeo is we are going to, of course, put the big semis on it, 22.5 Alcoas, the 10-lug conversion. That's a standard nowadays on any dually. So it'll have the 22.5 Alcoas. It's going to be bagged. We're going to put AccuAir as the management on it, front and rear. AccuAir, you know, it's proven once and once over and again that you can pull a big dually with a big trailer with AccuAir. You're not going to have no problems. We're going to put cars on the back of this thing with the gooseneck trailer, and we'll drag them all the way to California, Dino's Get Down in Arizona, you name it, with no fear of our air letting us down, thanks to AccuAir. But getting to that, we are going to have to go with the narrowed rear end. What we're doing is, this is a cab and chassis. A lot of guys pull the rear ends out and narrow their rear end. We're doing a cab and chassis. If you look at it, it's already narrow from the factory. This rear end is 3.5 inches per side narrower than the rear end that's in the truck now, which is a total of 7 inches narrower. Still the big 14-bolt 1-ton dually rear end. I geared it at 373 gears so we could fly down the highway instead of the 410s that were in it. All the center section's completely rebuilt. The rest of it still looks like a junkyard, because that's exactly what it is. It's junkyard right now. We'll clean it all up and we'll cut all the brackets off. We're going to put 4-link on it. We'll do a heavy-duty 4-link. So those brackets will go on here. Then we'll clean it up and paint it. We'll get rid of all the brakes. We'll put all brand new brakes and bearings and everything on it. So then there you go. We got a completely rebuilt rear end that will fit under the truck and tuck in the big semi wheels in the factory fenders without having to widen the fenders or anything. Then we'll put like a 3,800 pound bag on there. 3,800 pound bag gets a lot of travel and it can hold a lot of weight. So when we throw a big heavy trailer on the back, we don't have to worry about blowing the bags out. All of that will be in episodes, so you have to watch all the parts of the video. We're going to start off by getting the heart and soul of the thing. We got a 454 in here. Was leaning real bad on doing an LS swap. The motor runs so good and the transmission's so good. Everything works really good on the truck. It's just leaking oil everywhere. I'm opting to go against the grain and not LS swap our dually. Just made some heart attacks. But what we're going to do is we're going to pull this out. We're going to re-gasket it, replace whatever we feel like we need to replace. Actually going to clean it all up, paint the block, kind of old school it. I think I'm going to do all the Chevy orange on it like all the big blocks used to be. At that point though, this is a fuel injected truck. It starts right up and it runs good, but it is all very old fuel injection crap. It depends on how much shit starts breaking and hoses and vacuum lines start falling apart on me. Do I just convert it over to carbureted and have everything mechanical and reliable? Or do I put all that stuff back on here and keep it fuel injected and fuel efficient and hopefully reliable? It's just a judge right now. I'm juggling back and forth. We'll answer that question when we get it out. So it may go back in looking very old school hot rod, or it may go back in looking kind of like this, but very cleaned up. Either way, I think the 454 is going back in with the turbo 400, and With the 373 gears, we should be able to fly down the highway about 75, 80 mile an hour fine, but still have plenty of torque to yank our trailer from the red light and up and down the mountains. I think it'll all be cool. And when you pop the hood, there'll be 20 of them in a line with LS's, and ours will be old school big block. I think that'll be cool. But was on the fence. I was gonna LS swap it. So if an LS happens to fall in there, it's not my fault. But right now, we're gonna lean on keeping this alive and keeping this going. I think it'll be fun, it'll look cool, and I'm hoping it'll be easier on my pocketbook, to be truthful. Rolling on from that, we'll shut the hood. Super cool patina paint. I would like for it to be a little heavier than what it is, but the weirdest thing is when I bought the truck, it had a heavy like black mold shit growing all over it. It was pretty dirty. I knew it was like an original paint kind of thing, but I truly thought I was buying a tan truck. This truck used to be white. This was a white crew cab dually, and whatever this van conversion place is, painted the entire truck, including all the door jambs and inside the bed, tan, and then did their stripes. The firewall and inside the fenders are white, and a couple of other spots that I found that haven't been painted are white. So that means they painted the dash, they painted everything tan, but where the paint's getting thin and starting to wear out, the white's shining through. But kind of weird to me. You'd think you just buy a tan truck, but either way, it's cool.
So the jams are white too?
No, the jams are all tan. It's all been painted. It's all been painted tan.
Okay.
But like if you look at the firewall and the inner fenders and different places, it's white showing through. They painted the dash tan. They did a great job. It fooled me until I really started cleaning it up. But still got a lot of cleaning up to do.
You keep the interior stock?
It'll look all stock. We're gonna have to convert it over to vintage air because the big wheels will come up and get in the way of everything. And then I'll probably put Dakota digital gauges and all of the standards. And then at that point, you might as well just start getting rid of everything. And so the inside will probably turn all new and luxurious, and the exterior will stay old and rodeo-ish.
No, that's cool patina.
Yeah, it is cool. And you just can't replace that. Obviously somebody painted all this on here years ago. Mother Nature did her thing. It is 100% real. It's had its little battles or whatever. But if you check out inside the bed, it's never been a construction truck or what. It had a fifth wheel hooked up in it, and it pulled its horse trailer. So that gave it a good life, and it's been a good truck. It's not overly beat up. It's got some patina, but it's not heavily smashed and dented and banged. Couple little repairs that we'll make. Do a little faux patina to cover our little repairs that we're gonna do. But other than that, we're just gonna ruin it all the way the rest of the way. Bag it to the ground, big wheels, and do everything we do, So that's just the standard. So the frame will be sticking up through here, and then there'll be a fifth wheel hitch on top of our frame. And it's nothing different. We're not reinventing the wheel. You've seen a million of them. But to me, when you see a square body dually that's all bagged out on a big semi, it's so exotic. They just look different. They look cool. See so many of the OBS ones, and they are so cool and smooth and flowing. They look hot rod. I love them. But then when a square body rolls through the lot, you're like, oh my God, I gotta have one of them. Well, I got one. This is gonna be it. It's not no retired race car truck, but it's a retired rodeo goer. So the name's gonna be Rodeo on her.
So what kind of metal fabrication is gonna be going on?
Metal fabrications right now, right off the bat, once we're past the motor, we'll lift the bed off. We're not shortening the bed or anything on this one. It's gonna stay a long bed crew cab, but metal fab's gonna jump right into doing all the framework. We'll get rid of this rear end, the leaf springs and all of that shit, get the frame rails cleaned up, put a big step notch in. Then we'll convert it over to the 4-link. We got a heavy-duty 4-link going in. So once the 4-link, the step notch, and the bag mounts and all that stuff's on, then we got to come up with some cool mounts to mount all the air tanks and pumps and all the AccuAir stuff. When all said and done, I'll tell you the little secret that's in my head. It just depends on the timing and everything. I would love to do a lot of aluminum metalwork all inside there with with a lot of bead roll and everything that we do, but with like a Western theme engraving inside all the pockets of the bead rolls and stuff to carry on with that Western cowboy look. You know, you get a belt buckle or the boots have a lot of scroll work and engraving.
Cool. Yeah.
I think if I did that into my metal work and everything and then kind of left it all bare metal so that people can touch it and love it. People like bare metal more than painted metal for some reason. So if I did all of that inside there and under the hood and, you know, just carried it out, I think it'll be a real jaw dropper in a different kind of way. Haven't seen a lot of engraved bead roll pattern metal work out there yet. So that's what's kicking around in my head. And I think it'll go great with the Western theme. It'll look like a big ass cowboy belt buckle in the bed. So then some other metal work. Some people may kill me for this, but the running boards are going. I'm gonna dish the running boards. Love them or hate them. They're just not my thing. I've seen slam dualies with them and they do look cool. I just don't want it on mine. This one's actually mine. And I'm going to pull them off and sell them or whatever. There's a lot of guys looking for those. The chicken lights part, I love chicken lights. I call them Miami disco lights. I'll put some Miami disco lights back on it. They just ain't gonna be on running boards. I do have this piece of trim. I gotta find the fender trim. Somebody along the way of its life took the fender trim off. You can see exactly where it was. Little badges there. Wish I had them, I don't. I'm gonna find some at swap meet or something somewhere. Cause I don't wanna put no brand new badges on there. I want them to be patinaed to kind of flow with everything else. So that's it on this thing. Starting in the rear end, bag in the rear end, then rolling up to the front, and hopefully got some parts on order. I've been hearing some horror stories. I'm not gonna throw no names out there. Hopefully by the time we go through our stages, my parts for the front will be here. If they're not here, then I will go into modifying all the stock control arms and all this and that to get this thing laying frame on the ground, running and driving. So we drive it out here and do a video of us doing some road shots and cruising up and down and doing what we do. And then if my parts finally show up, when they do, I'll convert it over to the cool stuff. But so the plan are we're not letting nobody hold us back. We're gonna keep rocking and rolling. And it's gonna be a big ass long bed crew cab, 454 powered, semi wheel, bag slammed, rodeo star right here. You coming for the ride?
Coming for the ride.
That's the rear, so that's a front.
Is it spacers?
Huh?
Is it spacers? Wheel spacers?
That's the adapter, so
Oh, okay.
you look at that one. So this is the 8 lugs that hold this adapter onto the truck where the truck wheel would sit, and then these are the 10 lugs that the semi wheel sits on, and then this is a hub centric ring, so the semi wheel will sit right on here, and this ring will sit right on the hub of the truck. So that's how much bigger the bolt pattern is
Gotcha.
on the semi wheels. They call that a 10 lug conversion. All right, let's spin these off. Now this is a pain in the ass. Now everybody's gonna be like, ain't that Kingpin's wheels? No, it's Rodeo's wheels Kingpin used.
I was gonna say, recognize those wheels? Yeah, these are actually Scott's wheels that we donated to Kingpin to.
Right. We had to make shit happen.
We painted them. They actually look good on the truck, but Wade liked the other ones better, so we had some custom wheels made. Now we gave them back to Scott. Scott got his wheels back.
Yep, Scott's got his wheels back. It's like getting your sexy back, ain't it? Scott's got his wheels back.
And you wanted brown wheels anyways, it's just a wrong shade.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to paint it like this brown, is that right?
Yeah, I'd like to have them a little more like this color. Because I'm not a big fan of the dark brown because of these two stripes. So I was like, in the dark brown's like chalking out real bad.
Yeah.
So I was almost like, what if I just did tan right through here? And then it was just all tan with these stripes, would still be cool the way the stripes go on the bed. And then the wheels would be that color. I think it'd be cleaner and cool looking. Or do I just spray brown on the bottom side and get rid of these two stripes and then do the wheels a little lighter, kind of a combination of the two? But it is a little bit, they're just so dark they don't flip enough. I don't want them to look like dirty wheels. I want them to look like they're like an anodized coated wheel. So it's just, this color worked for Kingpin because it was just all blue. Well, this has multiple shades going on, and now we just added another shade. And it's like, we don't want 50 shades of tan, but we would like a nice fitting looking wheel. This is what we got for right now. We're gonna make it happen right here with this for a minute, and then we'll see. I get the pretty lug cover. That always makes it fancy. Look at me. I'm one nut short. One nut short of a good time.
Yeah, those look cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Wish I could get the rear on. The goal is to get this fender right here. That's a whole lot of dropping. I don't know what that measures, but we ain't stopping until this edge is right here. When that's right there, everything starts to be here.
That's a pretty big drop.
That's a pretty big old drop. The wheel actually kind of, like, if I have to live with it, you can almost live with it. Just throwing a lighter glow. Probably even a little bit. That'd be cool. Wrench. So now I threw the back wheels on there just to give you an example before we go too far and switch a bunch of stuff out. A lot of guys are trying to run these wheels and then they realize they can't tuck them in the stock fenders. So they start having to cut the fenders real wide and everything, or you got to get the rear end narrowed. So what I do is, this is on a stock rear end. You can see the difference. They're hanging out a few inches. On that rear end that I showed you earlier is a cabin chassis rear end. They're out of like tow trucks, U-Hauls and all this and that 1-ton dually things that are called cabin chassis. They're a lot narrower. They're 7 inches narrower from mounting surface to mounting surface than the stock dually rear end. So once I put that rear end in this truck, these wheels will now slide all the way inside and be able to be tucked up inside the fender. And this is your standard deep. If you look how deep it is, this is the standard deep 22.5. It's not the super singles or the flat face skinny runners. It's the full width deep one. I personally like the deeper wheel. If you're doing the semi look, I want the deepest semi looking wheel I can have. So with this wheel and that rear end, they'll all slide inside and tuck up. Everything will be the way it's supposed to be, how you see the new standard is on these trucks with these wheels. But without that rear end, and you try to run these big ones, they'll be sticking out like this. There's companies that are doing what they call flat faces and stuff, and they'll stick in a lot more, but the wheel just ain't as deep looking. I'm going for that big semi look with the max deep on the wheel, and then we'll change the rear end out. We don't have to narrow anything. It'll bolt right in, and those wheels will then tuck. But you have to find that rear end. They're in junkyards all over the place, and it's called a cabin chassis rear end. So get you one of them, get you some of these, and get that baby going.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for this video. This is more of a intro and a wheel fitment video, and kind of talking about the progress and what Scott hopes to do with this project as it moves forward. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it. Just a reminder, this is Scott's personal project, so he's coming up on the weekend to work on this. I live a few miles from the shop. I'm always busy with cutting grass and doing dad stuff. So when I get a chance, I'm going to come up here and try and film as much as possible while he's working on this thing. Hopefully there's not huge gaps in the progress. If there are, you know why. I'm trying to shoot as much as I can, so let me know you appreciate the effort. Give this video a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comment section. Ask a question. Give me a thumbs up emoji, anything. Let's please the algorithm gods. And always the best way to support the channel and support my effort, buy some merch. We have all kinds of cool t-shirts up there that really helps the channel while this channel grows. Share it with your friends. Do all the things. Spread the love. And that's all I've got for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.